Welcome to the Hyperbaby podcast. Once again, today we are here with Annika Brandow, our artist for StoneRow. Thanks for coming, Annika.
Thank you.
So we're going to get this thing started.
We're really excited to have Annika, and she comes to us all the way from Germany, so we're dealing with a little bit of a time difference issues, but I think it's going to be fun. And I'm sure that most of you have heard us say the name Annika Brandow at some point in time, because really she is the creator behind the art that we have for StoneRow. And if there's one comment that we get all the time, it's that they love the artwork. So we're super excited that you have a chance to come and talk to us, Annika.
We were talking last night how it really gave our game vision as far as first-time game developers. You know, we didn't really know what we were doing. We kind of were mucking it about. And then we were lucky enough to have you as an artist. And it really fleshed us out. And I think it actually motivated us as far as seeing the art, seeing the game come to life. I gave it another depth of creation. So
yeah, it made it real for us, I think. And for our process, we actually went onto that playing arts. You would enter the competition for playing arts there.
Oh, great. Yeah.
And that's where we found the entry that you had. And we just really thought it was fantastic art. And once we saw your profile on your website and all the other fantastic things you did, we were excited to get a chance to work with you. So thank you very much for doing that.
Thank you too. I loved working on it.
Fantastic. Yeah. So I have a question about working on the cards for StoneRow. How did you approach that project? I know we gave you some direction, but I think you really used a lot of your own creativity when it came to the different styles of the cards and the different styles of the guilds. How did you create that on your end?
I think something that was really cool is the different guilds, so kind of categorizing it. I love organizing things into different groups, so it was nice to do and kind of just like play around till you find something that you like, and I think that could work for the guilds as well. So it was just having fun, really, which was different from my other jobs, so I could really experiment, which was really cool.
Fantastic. So in your other jobs, there's just less freedom?
Yeah, I'd say so. A lot of times you have to stick to like brand guidelines and certain colors. So it was nice to kind of have the open, but still medieval theme.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, one of the things I really love about your art is that there's so much to it. So when you look at any one card that you've created, there's just a million tiny little things that once you start to look at it, you know, the position of the character, what's in their hands, what's in the background, all little things that are around them. You can stare at one card and just see, you know, every time there's something different or new that you see.
Yeah, and if it was up to me, I could still carry on adding more and more and more if I had the time.
Yeah, like why is she holding a beaver? We'll never know.
Yeah. I think she's one of my
it's just some random animal.
I love it.
Kind of the whole building thing, and beaver's bold.
I think it's fantastic. So do you have a card or a character that you liked the most? Like what would be your favorite?
Yeah, I think it might be the one holding the beaver, and also the leader from sorry, I forget, Moonrock, is it? Blood Moon? Sorry.
Oh yeah, the red. It says like the gentleman in red. He had the big red hat.
The Blood Moon.
Yeah.
Yes. That's fantastic. I think actually the lady holding the beaver, she's one of my favorites too.
Oh, really?
She's so sweet looking.
So Annika, when you create characters like that, do you need further background to kind of bring them to life? Or do you just kind of go do they kind of come into creation as you draw them out?
Yeah, I guess I kind of draw them, and then you kind of start imagining kind of their background story. So you kind of have to just kind of think, what would they be into? How would they look? How would they almost move as well? And I think that all adds to it.
Cool.
Nice. So let's talk for a second about so your background as an artist.
Yeah.
Were you trained through university, or how did you go about getting where you are?
Yes, I did go to university. It was more graphic design though. We also did illustration, but not so much. But I always just liked drawing more than designing. So eventually I started out as a graphic designer actually. And then I just started taking on more illustration jobs after finishing studying. Yeah, I've always loved it.
Mhm. That's fantastic. So after university, did you go right into a freelance career, or did you have something in between?
No, I worked at an agency for about 1.5 years. We made like cheese and wine packaging, like the labels for that.
That sounds kind of fun, but not very creative.
Yeah, it was fun. We got lots of free samples, and so that was nice.
We're all about free cheese here in Wisconsin.
Oh, really?
Yeah, actually, you might not know, but Wisconsin, our big thing is cheese. Like, of all of the 50 states, we pride ourselves on our cheese the most.
Our motto is
okay.
Our motto is the dairy state. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I've heard there's a lot of German culture there, so kind of the baking is quite popular there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep,
we do have a lot of Germans.
Right.
Yep.
We have Oktoberfest
okay.
and all that fun stuff.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to take a break for a second here and get Annika, the baby Annika, set up for something.
Hello, baby Annika.
Yeah, which by the way, when her name is Annika, and we had her just before we were looking for an artist.
Oh, okay.
So when we found you, and we already knew that we really loved your art, but the fact that your name was the same as hers, we felt kind of like fate. Just a little.
Okay. Sounds like it.
Yeah. Right, I'll be back 1 second.
All right.
Get her set up with something.
So how are things over there with the coronavirus situation?
Yeah, it's all right. I think it's kind of lightening up, but now that everything's kind of open again, there's a couple more cases coming in as expected.
Sure.
And there?
It's hard because I think a lot of businesses and states here opened up too early. A lot of people were very impatient. It was difficult because, as you probably know, like a lot of our industry was affected by the virus.
Yeah.
So you had a group of people that really wanted to get back to work because they needed the money. A lot of service industry, and we actually have a couple artists and musicians that we know that were really greatly affected by the situation. And you can't blame these people for wanting to get back to work, and they're short of money. But our government in my opinion, didn't do a very good job of kind of mediating the situation, and we're still kind of struggling with that. So we've had some difficulties with leadership in this country for a while. So
I think we are aware.
Everybody's watching.
Sadly. I think the whole world is kind of watching, kind of in shock.
Scratching their heads going, what the heck are you doing?
Yeah, exactly. So I think a lot of attention, especially lately, has been on the news coming from there. And I think everyone's kind of just keeping an eye out.
Yeah, waiting with bated breath. All right.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
I was hoping that she would stay asleep through all of this, but of course she woke up maybe 5 minutes before we were supposed to start.
It's Murphy's Law.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. So can you remind me where we're at?
Well, we were just talking a little bit about um, the coronavirus and how it's affected, um, how it's affecting her in Germany. And I was just kind of updating her with where we're at here in the States as far as how it's affecting us and how we're all kind of working through it. I don't want to get too lost on details on what we do, but we had a lot of things planned with StoneRow at the beginning of the year, and we had to canceled all of them. So I think the biggest thing for artists and for us is we've had to adjust as to how we promote the game. Everything's gone online, obviously. Have you had a lot of that too with your work as far as having to
I had one event cancelled that I was supposed to go work at, but otherwise I'm kind of freelancing as usual. So I'm really lucky like that. But I know a lot of people are quite affected by it, which is quite frustrating and scary.
Yeah,
but I think the government's helping out a lot.
That's good.
That's good.
Yeah, that's good. So I hear good things from Germany as far as how they're approaching the coronavirus.
They dropped all taxes now for the next year. Or not all taxes, just VAT. So it's less now. And I think they raised the minimum wage for the next 2 years. So it's also good.
Wow. Yeah, that sounds like really positive changes. I like that they have a long-term approach. It's not something that you're going to do just one time, really short term, and hopefully we'll get over it. They're looking at it like this is going to affect us for a long time.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that makes sense. So did you find, I don't know if you already went over this, but have you found that you have maybe less people commissioning your work because of what's going on?
Possibly. Right now I'm kind of working with the same client and they haven't stopped yet. So I'm like I said, I'm really lucky with that. But I've also been saying yes to absolutely everything that's coming in, just in case, because I'm kind of expecting a delayed reaction.
That makes sense. At some point, maybe it'll dry up a little bit, or people's ability to have their projects, to run their projects might dry up.
Yeah, I hope not, but yeah.
So
I'm
for your
working.
projects, do people mostly come and find you, or do you go out somewhere to find work?
They usually come and find me. In Germany now, I've been trying to get some German clients, so I've approached them. But usually they find me.
Well, that's kind of I'm sure that at the beginning of your career, it was very much you going out and getting people.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's got to be nice to have that turnabout where you can just kind of sit back and they come to you.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes it gets a little stressful, especially at the beginning of the year. It's usually very quiet. And then you start stressing, but it always picks up again after a while.
So how long have you been doing freelancing, Annika?
I've been freelancing. It was actually 7 years yesterday, or on the 1st. 7, 8, 7 years.
7 years, wow. That's a
yeah,
lot.
I forgot it was my work anniversary.
Do you feel like you've had any really big milestones along the way as far as progression of your art? Actually feeling, I don't think anybody's really feels like they quote unquote made it, but as far as your progression to doing freelance full time, was there any jobs or processes that you came across that really helped you out?
Yeah, definitely. I would say I started out doing very corporate stuff, which wasn't really anything I would want to do. And then eventually I got commissioned by MTV for some ads, just working in my own style. And that was really cool. And since then, I've been getting more and more jobs commissioned, like in working in the style that I kind of enjoy working in. So that was quite a big one. And then last year I did a I did like a lip gloss packaging. That was quite cool as well.
That's fun. I don't know that I've seen that one on your. Do you have that on your
Portfolio?
portfolio?
Not yet. I still have to shoot it all. It's here in Germany, so I had to wait until it was released, and now I have to shoot it and upload it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, I know I've seen. I saw the MTV spots that you did, and I thought those were so fun.
Yeah, it was really fun.
How did you end up
Super
working?
excited.
How did you end up doing that job? Was that another one where they found you?
Yes, they found me through. I did a lot of typography for an app called Over, and they saw that piece on my portfolio, and then they commissioned me for their ads.
Nice.
So it all kind of snowballs.
I like that. So, but at about that time, you would think that that's about when things kind of changed for you and transformed into a different freelancing than working for the corporates.
Yeah, I still do the corporate work now and then. But yeah, it's good to at least have some variety.
Nice.
Do you have a job that you're most proud of?
I might have to say StoneRow.
That's a great answer, Annika. We're really happy to hear you say that.
No pressure.
No, but I like how it came out and kind of the whole series. I think that was the biggest series I've done. So it was cool.
That was a lot of images all together. What do we have? I think we tried counting it the other day, and we have like something like 70 some cards in the deck.
Yeah, 75 cards, I think.
Yeah.
Ever since we've done a couple different add-ons, and ever since we did the add-ons, we can't remember how many cards are in the deck.
I also can't tell you.
It's only our game, and we can make up the rules as we go, so we just tell people what we want to tell them. Yeah, that was a really big job, and one thing we're coming to appreciate about working with you, Annika, is how punctual you were, and definitely how easy it is to work with you. It helps sometimes because we don't always have a clear vision of what we want artistically, and you really help that come along.
Thank you.
So I like the style of your art. Is that something that you've always had that style, or were you inspired by other artists?
I guess it's a combination of both. I kind of always just try to make something fun that I also kind of like enjoying. It's all about if I enjoy making it, it will probably end up being good at the end. But yeah, I think as a child, my favorite was Where is Waldo? I think a lot of that is translated into my work, and I'd like
absolutely.
I'd like to experiment with that more going into the future.
I can really see that with the cards because there's so much kind of packed into one scene that Where's Waldo really works with that. Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, and you have to give them a second and third look sometimes to catch all the hidden little pieces in them.
Yeah.
Do you
I
get
really
to
enjoy adding the little details that maybe someone might come across or never.
So do you do that a lot in your work? Kind of hide little
Easter eggs?
We call it Easter eggs. Yeah.
Yeah, I do like doing that.
So do you have any advice? I'm going to kind of go off tangent here, but do you have any advice for aspiring artists or people who are creative? Do you have any things in your repertoire that you use to help yourself be creative or get into a creative mind?
Yeah, it's a difficult one. It's almost like you have to kind of show up first of all, and just kind of draw or do what you do creatively. And sometimes it won't be there, and sometimes it will come. But I guess sometimes the idea just strikes you, and then you have to kind of work with it. It's hard to actually explain that one because I'm still kind of trying to figure out how to reach it myself a lot of the times.
it can be difficult to work through those times where it doesn't come to you naturally.
Yeah.
You really have to becomes work.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was going to say, I like what you said about showing up, because that's something I know from my experience that, just giving yourself that space and going from 9 to noon or whatever it is, this is when I'm available. This is when creativity can strike. You at least give it that opportunity every day. Yeah, I do. I try to do that. It doesn't always work.
Me too. Me too. Sometimes it hits like at very inconvenient times, and then I just have to work anyway. Absolutely. If I can.
Do you have anything that you reach for if you're struggling to be creative, like for inspiration?
Well, sometimes I'll just go for a walk. That tends to help, just kind of getting away from my tablet screen on my piece of paper and just kind of thinking it through. Also, surprisingly, washing the dishes.
That's funny you should say that, because I've had that happen occasionally where I'll be doing something like routine, the laundry or dishes, and had story ideas or something come to me of all the times.
Washing the dishes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try that one, and Amy's gonna be really happy. I think she's gonna be encouraging me a lot on that one.
Yeah, I think you should absolutely try that a lot more.
Should I go do it right now?
Yeah, I think you should. No, I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, that's good.
We just got a dishwasher, so maybe ideas will come less often.
Less time to be creative. Do you have a lot of distractions at home?
No, not really. Like, my husband was working here, but he went into his own studio this week. So now I'm home alone most of the time. But I think I'm going to go into a co-working space soon as well.
Okay, well, that'll be nice.
So, yeah.
Sometimes
trying to separate.
Oh.
Yeah?
Right. Trying to separate that work from home.
Yeah, exactly.
It's very difficult sometimes, as you noticed this morning with our little one waking up.
Yeah, I think that's something that people are really having to experience for the first time, working at home and the distractions that you can have. Obviously, as a freelancer, you've been working through that a lot. You've just kind of been working at home for, probably the last 7 years then?
Yeah, exactly.
So you probably have a pretty good process of how to separate your work from your home life. Do you find that it bleeds over a lot? Yes,
definitely. The best way for me is just to put on music on my ears and turn it up and try and tune out.
What kind of music do you listen to when you work?
Really anything. Lately Spotify has just been giving me music to listen to, which isn't necessarily what I choose, but it's been a lot of like neo wave, soul, hip hop. So I kind of like that kind of stuff.
Nice.
We definitely live in a good time for music. I think that's something I kind of see in our daughters. They take for granted, the giant, huge selection of music. Yeah. I'm going to date myself a little bit here, but like when I was, in school, I had like just a handful of cassettes that I'd listened to, and a lot of those cassettes I listened until they basically destroyed themselves. So I think we do that a lot too. We take for granted all the music and things that we have available to us to help us be creative or get in that state.
Yeah, definitely. And I also used to tape music from the radio. So you record it and listen to it afterwards over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I remember doing that. I had one little recorder, and I would have to like hit the record button on it and then set it close to the speakers of another radio. Record it that way.
Next to your steam-powered radio.
I know, right? It makes it sound pretty old.
That's all right.
But I think, I don't know, I really appreciated everything I listened to at that point, because there was only a few things. So I really got to know the music really well. And I feel like I really enjoy listening to the wide variety of music that's available. I think it's amazing, but at the same time, because there's so much, I don't feel like I don't feel like I have a personal relationship with the music anymore. Like I
Yeah,
don't know
exactly.
as
It
much
used
in
to
depth.
be kind of you spend like your pocket money on buying this one CD, and you have to listen to it all the way through, even get a secret track, and like now you just click and skip.
Yeah, exactly. You just consume it, it goes
Yeah,
and goes.
Do you ever feel
yeah,
like
it's
that sometimes, Annika, with your art? Like, um, I think sometimes Amy and I struggle with feeling like we're trying to climb on the top of the highest mountain and scream into the void with a million other voices. Do you feel like nowadays, with your art, it's easier to get noticed, or because of all the social platforms, or is it harder for you?
I definitely say harder. I think the only way to really be heard right now is to focus on the local market, or just in your community instead.
That's a really good
Or
idea.
Yeah, that's really good advice, I think, and even from our experience.
yeah,
Um, I think a lot of first-time entrepreneurs, artists, creative people
mhm,
struggle with that a lot because they don't
yeah,
know where to start.
yeah. I think the internet's made it so saturated that it's almost, unless you're maybe 18 and very fashionable as well, along with your art, it's going to be very hard to really get followers and noticed.
Yeah, that's one thing that I feel is created a real detriment is that, like you said, you almost have to have not just a fantastic product, but you
Mm.
yourself have to be marketable,
Yeah, yeah,
as far as your looks and your age and your attitude. You have to
yeah,
be, you're basically part of the product yourself.
yeah, yeah. You have to be the whole package, otherwise. Uh, but it's okay because I see a lot of people who really inspire me, and they also don't have a huge following. So it's at least good to know.
That's good.
Mm.
What Chris and I always talk about is that we don't really, we're not looking to be the most famous in any of the things we're doing, my writing, the card games.
Speak for yourself. No.
We're not trying to be the most famous. We just want our projects to finance creating more projects. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Just give us the ability to keep being creative. That's really what we're
yeah,
going for.
And to go back to what you spoke of earlier with doing your art, and really
mm,
enjoying the process,
yeah,
that's something that we're trying to focus on a lot too. Is when we do something, like this podcast, we really enjoy learning about the people we interview and doing the process. If we
yeah,
didn't, obviously it would be forced and we wouldn't do it. But that's a really important part, is just enjoying the path that you're on.
yeah. I think it's important to kind of just, it's almost like achieving mindfulness while you're working. And
Yep,
yeah, that's the best part for me, at least.
absolutely.
So I want to go back really quickly to, I don't know that we covered much. You're in Germany right now, but you are from South Africa.
Yes, exactly.
How would you say, now when did you move? I can't
So I
remember.
moved in October 2018. So it's almost 2 years now.
Wow. So you've been in Germany for 2 years. How would you
Yeah.
say your experience being a freelance artist, how would you say it was different from South Africa to Germany, or
Um,
has there really been very little change?
I'd say it's a lot better because in South Africa, there's a very big focus on who's the youngest artist to use because it's such a small country. So the artists we all kind of know each other. And yeah, there's definitely a focus on youth.
Really.
So when you get a little older, it gets a bit tricky unless you've already become very established.
Interesting. Is that maybe, is there a strong feeling that with youth brings like new ideas? Is that where that comes from? Or is it just sort of an aesthetic?
I think it's the aesthetic and just there's a big value on youth.
Interesting. And is that if you don't mind saying, is that part of why you moved to get to a broader market?
No, not particularly. My husband's a musician, so it's a bit of a better work environment here for him, especially.
Okay. Interesting. So is what kind of, if you don't mind, what kind of music does he do?
He does like hardcore punk. So
Nice.
yeah.
Yeah, right. I was gonna ask, if his music was something that you listen to while you do art. But I suppose hardcore punk is maybe not conducive to
No, not
mindfulness.
particularly. Yeah.
That's interesting. So you've enjoyed the transition to Germany?
I wouldn't say enjoy, but it's good. It's good here. It's just so much paperwork and having to learn German, and just kind of the whole integration has been very stressful.
I can't imagine. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
It's good
you're
here.
sorry. So you're transitioning to German. You're learning German. You speak English.
Yeah.
Are there any other languages that you speak?
I speak Afrikaans as well.
As well. Wow. I always really admire people who speak more than one language. It's not very common in the States, and it's something I wish we had more of. So
Yeah, a little more diversity here would be nice.
Yeah. I always regret not learning more languages in South Africa while I was there. So if I ever go back, I'll definitely make the effort.
Yeah, I apologize. I know very little about South Africa, but it does sound like it's a very diverse place.
Yeah, it is.
What are the major ethnic backgrounds there? What languages would you be learning if you went back?
So there's 11 different languages.
oh my, 11.
And I'd probably learn Xhosa or Zulu is quite widely spoken, or Situ.
That's really interesting. So are there a lot of resources for people who want to cross-learn all these languages? Is it easier, do you think?
Unfortunately not. It's quite a shame because they should really be teaching kids this in school, I'd say, instead of Afrikaans, because that's not really used as much.
So
But
what would
that's
be the
still,
predominant?
Yeah, what is the majority there?
I'd say everyone speaks English and Afrikaans. But yeah, it's kind of, they call it a dying language.
Oh, really?
Mm.
That's interesting. Yeah, I agree with you. I think that it would be nice to have more language learning early on for children because that's when it's going to stick the most. I know for my girls, I've been trying to get them into learning some languages. We use some online resources and things, and I've spoke with their school and asked, well, when can we get them into an actual course? And the answer is always, well, not yet. That starts at, I think, the 8th grade, which, you're already 12, 13, maybe. You're already 13 about that time, so I think that's kind of too late. I wish that there would be a little more done early on.
And we definitely appreciate, having lived in a foreign country, we really appreciate the effort that people make if English is not their native language. So, thank you for coming on the podcast. And I know sometimes it's hard, but like when we were in Japan, one thing we found is that the Japanese were, the majority of them actually knew a large portion of English, but they were very afraid to speak it, especially to a native speaker, because they were being judged. So I think that's one of the big things, going back to what you guys were talking about with learning, is it's a brave thing to go and speak a foreign language to a native speaker. And, it's hard. Sometimes people forget that. So if you can find an environment where you can go and speak to a native speaker, it's probably one of the best ways to learn.
So you're learning German right now. Do you find?
Oh, you can carry on.
Oh,
sorry.
No, that's okay. I was going to say, so you're learning German right now. Do you find that when you go out, you're able to speak German with most of the people, or how do you communicate for the most part?
So last year when I spoke German, people would switch over to English. And this year they're sticking to German, so
Hey,
I think
that's a good sign.
yeah, that's a good sign. But yeah, a lot of people don't speak English at all here, so you kind of have to kind of learn quickly. Luckily, Afrikaans isn't too different. Well, there's a lot of words that are very similar, so it's been really helpful.
Okay, well, that makes sense.
It's good. So, going back to like your projects and things you're working on, is there anything that you'd like to talk about or promote? Upcoming,
For
what should we wait for
Yeah.
from Annika Brandow?
What's coming next?
So I'm taking the summer a bit more relaxed, so trying to just chill a bit, and then after summer, my husband and I we want to start making some screen printed products just to sell at the markets there and probably on Etsy. So yeah,
That's a great
that's
idea.
something to look forward to.
I like that. So do you have an Etsy shop already?
I do. It's not very well stocked yet, but I'll be updating it probably from October.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So do you plan on using brand new images and brand new art for that, or kind of reaching back into your portfolio to get other things for the screen printing?
I've got a couple existing products, and then I have so many ideas that I have to work on and draw. I've got this big envelope full of ideas that I need to work through.
Oh, really? That's fantastic. Well, that'll be nice because it's a chance for you to get back to your own creativity.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you find that doing all this freelance work for other people kind of it puts your creativity on the back burner a little bit?
Yeah, sometimes you kind of just want to work on your own thing, but you don't have the time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but sometimes I will make time.
Right. You have to, right?
Yeah.
I know that for myself, I just recently left a position at a company where my job on the outside, it seemed very creative. My job was to read children's books and then create quizzes for them.
Oh,
And
nice.
I thought, that's fantastic. I get to read all the time and I kind of get to be creative with these questions. But after, I think I was there almost 5 years. And now that I've left, looking back on it, I realize it didn't allow me to be as creative as I can be. Now that I'm outside that job, I can look at all the projects, all my own personal projects that I set aside, and I went, oh man, I haven't worked on this in forever, or I haven't seen this. And I'm feeling much more creative now that I don't have that other stuff.
I must say that freelance work somehow still allows a lot more creativity than working at a place, at least in my experience.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's how I feel too. When you do sort of work for a separate company, you kind of become a part of that, you get drawn into that company a little bit. Whereas if you're freelance, you still get to pick and choose the projects that you're working on.
Yeah, exactly. And you don't have to work according to the agency's style that's already existing.
Right. They've come to you because they like your style.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, you kind of, Amy, you likened it to waking up again.
Yeah. For me, it was quite dramatic. This feeling of leaving that corporate environment and getting back to my own creativity. It felt like waking up from a really long sleep.
Wow, that sounds amazing.
It really feels fantastic.
Creative hibernation, it kind of was,
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's like finding out, hey, I was this person who had all this creativity, and where did you go for the last 5 years?
Yeah, I get that.
So do you think that for you, do you plan on just continuing to work freelance going forward and forever? Or is there a plan to, I don't know, what would be the next level for you?
Honestly, I'm still figuring it out myself, kind of where I want to go moving forward. I might want to do some books, but Or, I don't know, there's so many ideas that I'd like to still try.
I think that's a fantastic idea. I could absolutely see your art in an illustrated book for sure.
I happen to know an
Okay.
author.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
She's
Okay.
sitting next to me. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're super excited to do some more stuff on StoneRow. I think StoneRow is for the time being, it's kind of coming to a little bit of an end because we need to finalize our marketing stuff for StoneRow and then get it polished so we can kind of send it out for reviews and things like that. But we have at least 2 more games on our schedule as far as development and art and things like that. So we definitely want to consider you in the process of developing those as well.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, if you've got the time.
If you've got the time.
Yeah, definitely. My husband and I have actually been playing a lot of StoneRow during coronavirus.
Hey,
Yay,
especially.
Yeah.
And you're still married. That's good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. I'm not sure. I think we may have gotten you an early copy of the game. You may not have the most recent. We'll have to send it to you.
Okay.
Last fall, we had Annika develop additional cards for the game, the steampunk inspired characters. And do you have those, Annika?
No, I don't have those cards.
Oh, yes. Then we need to update the game because we've found that when playing with those extra cards and those little extra rules, it gets a lot more fun. So we'll get those to you soon.
Cool. Sounds fun.
Absolutely.
We have
actually
a lot of fun.
I made like a card game community here recently, just before lockdown. So I'll probably have them play it too sometime soon.
For sure. I was gonna ask you, how was the gaming scene in Germany?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's completely new. I just met people literally the week before everything closed down.
Oh no.
But they did tell me some meetups happening soon again. So I'll go there.
Yeah, I can imagine sitting down with neighbors and friends is kind of a nice way to practice German with other people and kind of getting to know.
Although none of them were German.
Oh,
never mind.
Are the other people from South Africa? Do you live in kind of a community of expatriates from there?
No, I don't know anyone from here or from there. Yeah, it's mostly a lot of people from Italy and Brazil. It's very mixed.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I think that's all we have for questions. Do you have any questions for us?
Yeah. Is there anything you'd like to add?
I don't have anything particular to ask. Anything you want me to ask?
No, that's fantastic. We really appreciate you taking the time to talk with us because I think it's been long overdue. We've talked over email quite a bit, and I know we did sort of a written interview at one time that we put on the website, but it's just a whole different experience sitting down and I mean, we're not really face to face, but sitting down and talking with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been trying to do more communication with our collaborators. One thing that we found with at least talking, on a regular basis, it kind of motivates you. I should say it does motivate you. When you're not only doing it for yourself or being accountable for yourself, you kind of feel a little bit obliged to take it to the next level if you're collaborating with someone.
Yeah, I agree. And I almost feel like I've had more phone calls this year than ever before in my life.
I bet.
So, and it's actually very good.
Have you been on other podcasts or?
No, never.
No.
I still cringe at the sound of my voice.
Oh no, so you won't be listening to this once it's out.
I might, but I might have to prepare.
Yeah. Get a nice stiff drink beforehand. I know how you feel. I think I was that way when we started out, and this is only the 9th episode, so we're really new, and a lot of this is us just figuring out what we're doing.
Yeah.
So it can sound really rough at times.
Yeah.
But I enjoy it. So
Yeah, it sounds very professional from my side.
oh, thank you. That's
Thanks.
good to hear. So I think that's about everything that we had. I'm really, really happy that we get a chance to talk with you, and we'll again we'll end the show here.
We'll keep everybody posted on all of your projects. We'll put some links to your stuff on the bottom of this when we post it. And then, thanks everybody for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you. It was nice meeting you.
Yeah, you too, Annika.
Stick around for the very last dramatic reading of our Wheel of Cheese adventure, Lost at Skullcrush Mine. You rise and straighten your clothes while dusting your pants. Hamdel grumbles softly.
Bow.
You whisper as you assist Hamdel to his feet. He sticks his arms out and awkwardly curtsies before the Goblin King. When the boy's head rises, he jumps. It would seem that fate has landed you in the throne room of Skullcrush Mine's Goblin clan. With a thump of his staff, the Goblin King grunts, and 100 goblin feet pound into the chamber. Hamdel huddles close. The prospect of a fresh meal causes the goblin court around their king to jump and yip, hissing while clambering over each other, drooling and snapping their rotten teeth. You pull Hamdel close to you and away from the horrific sight. He buries his small face in your side and squeezes his dirt-blackened plush griffin. The Goblin King smiles and waves his emaciated hand. His kin settle. He rises from his throne, discarding the half-consumed chicken leg with royal whimsy. Brutish guards scramble to fight over the morsel.
Who dare enter cave of Skullcrush clan?
The king shouts, then turns with hands extended to show the vastness of his tribe. Upon hearing the clan's name, the goblins howl and cheer, slamming their pickaxes onto the ground. Hamdel whimpers in the cacophony.
Oh, mighty king of the Skullcrush clan.
You lace your words with sweetness and tip your head in deference.
I beg upon your majesty's renowned wisdom.
You gesture to the horde.
The Skullcrush clan is truly powerful.
Pausing for effect, you raise a finger and the goblins hush.
So powerful, in fact, that the villagers have named this mine after your clan. I humbly ask your mercy for safe passage from your kingdom so I may take this lost boy back to the village.
The king watches your performance. The right side of his mouth raises ever so slightly into a crooked smile, exposing rotten teeth.
Leave?
He bellows, both hands grasping his protruding belly. The king's court explodes with noise.
Long ears, what you be doing for leave?
The king's demeanor changes, and you sense he is no longer in an amicable state. Hamdel stirs.
I wish the spiders would eat all of you.
He explodes, reddened eyes shining from streaming tears. The king shoots backward at the mention of spiders and hisses a guttural goblin word. The goblins click their teeth and tongues, sounding like an arachnid army. A look of horror washes over the clan. You pull Hamdel back to you, but this time you're smiling. The boy may become a great bard yet.
Yes, your majesty. Spiders are prowling this mine. Surely you've heard their hungered, ravaged chitters while they wait in the shadows?
Your words have the desired effect, and the Goblin King withers. Your confidence grows.
I propose an arrangement. Let the boy and I go, and I will convince the people of Strom to eradicate the spiders.
The king mutters with his guards, and after some deliberation, responds.
Long ears, you go, and bring village back in 3 dusks.
You are about to leave with smug satisfaction, until the king raises a bony finger.
If spiders not gone, Skullcrush clan kill village.
The clan explodes into gnashing teeth and stomping pickaxes. This time, Hamdel stands strong. Your exit is swift with an armed goblin escort. The welcome sight of a blue-tinged dawn sky greets you, and you take a breath of fresh air. Hamdel looks up at you.
What should we do now? I know the secret lake.
The boy squeaks as you lift him to your shoulders. Even with the extra weight, you make it back to the village in record time. At the sight of you, the innkeeper gives a shout and sends for the mayor. The sleepy tavern quickly comes to life as folk swarm inside. Laughter and smiles surround you as Hamdel recounts his adventure in exaggerated detail. Your barbarian friend slaps your back and hands you a drink. The room falls to a hush when the mayor rushes in through the door. She picks up Hamdel and they both share happy tears. There's a collective "Aww" from the crowd, only interrupted by your attention-getting cough.
So there's just one little problem.
After explaining the goblin's bargain and the new threat to the village, there's an uncomfortable silence. With a glance to the back of the room, you see the barbarian extend a fist in a time-honored tradition and count 1, 2, 3. Your friend stands there with a smile and 2 fingers pointed out like scissors.